Morning. So as you can tell from the title, this video is going to be about how I got last in my age group for my first Olympic distance triathlon and why I'm so happy about it. So I'm going to cut to the chase and show you how it all started. This is a calendar. Not the best one, but yeah, this will do. This is the 8th of August, and this is the day that I signed up for my first Olympic distance triathlon race. Signing up on this day means that I have approximately 1 whole month to prep for it, and the race will be here on 4th of September. So in this first week of prep, I had exams on this day and this day. I had to spend some time to go and study for it, and because of that, I had to drop my training load. That drop in the training load, I ended the week in a pretty crappy mood, but it was still quite okay. And in the second week, I also had exams on these 2 days. The training load was similar to what it was the week before. They were like at least 50% down from what I usually train. My mind was also pretty occupied on what's going to happen the next week, because from here all the way to here, I was in Lombok for holiday. So the thing is, I planned this holiday trip before I even planned the race. So I had to go for the trip because I already spent money on tickets and they were non-refundable. So knowing that I had a race to do while I was on holiday wasn't the best feeling ever, but it was something that I had to prioritize. So what I did during the trip was that I limited my alcohol intake quite a bit. I limited on the junk food as well. I tried to put in a run, and I had to be on guard because as a tourist, you're a little bit more vulnerable, and it wasn't really very enjoyable, and I couldn't really focus on my fitness or keeping my heart rate low. I'm just happy that I got it done, just to maybe maintain fitness. Also on this day and this day, I got like 3 cut wounds that were pretty deep. I made the stupid decision to leave them untreated until I reached home because I didn't think it was gonna be very deep. So with all that going on, I came back to SG on the 26th, and I had approximately 1 week left before I had the race. On the 27th, I went to the doctor and I went to try and treat the wounds that I got when I was in the trip. However, towards the end of the day, the whole ankle started swelling up and I could hardly walk. So as you can see, nothing was really going my way. This was an emotional roller coaster for me, and it was extremely mentally draining. As all this was building up to the race, I knew that I had to keep this mindset up, and that mindset involved knowing that everything and anything could go wrong. Life is going to throw as many problems as possible to you. What matters is how you receive them and how you react to them. So knowing that I was so unprepared for the race, I knew that there's going to be even more problems during the race, and I knew that I had to go and find a way to solve it and continue and hit the goal that I had in mind. That is to complete the race and get a feel for what it's like to be in the race. And so that was the mindset I had going into the race, and this is what the race day was like. Okay, so this was at 6:30 AM and it was the start of the race. We registered and went into the transition area pretty quick. My mom and dad were there to help me out with the transition stuff. Most of the time that we spent before the race were just for us to familiarize ourselves, for me as a participant and for my friends as they were recording and filming the race as well. It's 8 AM now. We are like 10 minutes away from the race start. I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm also not that worried because I don't have too many expectations for myself. I just want to finish it and hope everything goes well. The ankle is not swelling up anymore, so that's good, but the wound is still open, and covered it up as much as possible to prevent any infection, but we'll see how it goes. So the first lap of the swim was pretty okay, but the second lap was the one that was a bit more chaotic. So when I went into the water for the second lap, just a few strokes in, and I remember going up for a breath of air, and the guy in front of me just scooped a whole handful of seawater into my mouth while I was trying to get the air. The second stroke, I went in and went back out to cough it out, and then I just continued swimming as per normal. So back then, I thought it was quite okay, and you know, there wasn't much of an issue. But unfortunately, this made me get like crazy stomach cramps when I was in a bike ride. At this part, I was really exhausted from the swim, and I was just wondering how in the world am I gonna finish the whole race. What went through my mind throughout the whole thing was just putting one step forward after the other. It was a lot of being the moment and not thinking too much about the finish line. I took a lot of time during the swim to the bike transition. If I'm not wrong, it was around 7 minutes. I was really exhausted, and that was a good enough time for me to get myself back up on track. So the start of the bike ride was fine. It was only at the 10 km mark was where I really started to feel the pain of the stomach cramps. Every small little bump was amplified from the pain, and it was really excruciating. I've never really felt pain of that kind of level before, especially while doing a workout, because I knew I had to keep on going. The thing about the whole bike ride was that my heart rate and my legs were feeling very fresh. So I really wanted to push a lot more, and I knew I could push a lot more, but my stomach just held me back because the pain of the stomach cramps were at the core of my body, and that really stopped me from doing what I wanted to do, and that was to crush the bike course. There were so many times where I honestly just wanted to stop. Every time I felt like stopping, I reached the point where my friends and family were, and yeah, that was quite a big reason for me to just keep going on and not stop until I finished the whole thing. So straight after the bike was the run, and the run was quite okay because I practiced the bike to run many times, and yeah, I was quite comfortable with the whole process. My legs were definitely sore, but after the first km, it was quite manageable. Just because it was manageable doesn't mean that the stomach cramps were gone. The stomach cramps stayed with me throughout the whole thing. Around the 3rd kilometer of the run, I saw a toilet and I knew I had to use it. So at that point, I made a decision to take a dump before going and continuing on with the race. The stomach cramps were still there, but I managed to pick up the pace as the distance went on. This is probably because running was my strongest discipline out of all three, and yeah, it wasn't a breeze, but it was a lot better than the bike and the swim. And there we have it, the finish line.
Alright.
Oh, congratulations.
So that's the end of the race. As I expected, nothing went according to plan, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. So right after this, when I get home, I'll probably do a proper breakdown of the race. But for now, I'm just glad that I finished, and that's all it is for the race today. So with all that went on, getting 17 out of 17 for the age group wasn't that bad. I think that I was quite happy and content with the fact that I even finished it. But because I got last, the hunger and the drive to go back and do a better triathlon and a better race and a faster time was so strong. I think no matter how bad or how good the race is, just the feeling of being there and the whole idea of being in that spot was just crazy. So the main reason why I'm so happy for the 17 out of 17 is because I'm extremely driven to go for more triathlons, to hit faster paces, to hit better times, and just to improve myself. Because the feeling of being in the race and the feeling of that accomplishment at the finish line is just something that is so powerful. So this is definitely not the last time you're going to be hearing from me. I'm definitely going to be posting more because I'm definitely going to be doing more races. So what's coming up next and what I'm in prep for right now is the Stand Chart Marathon. And for this marathon, I'm not just aiming to complete it. And my aim for it is to do it within 4 hours. So this means I need to hit a 5 minute and 41 seconds per km pace. With regard to the posting, I'm not as active on YouTube even though I wish to be. But if you want to find out more about the prep and how it's going, you should follow me on my TikTok or Instagram for more details on my training plans and stuff. So yeah, I'll see you there.